This tutorial is produced by Global Grace Alterations in partnership with Interfaith Rise, the refugee resettlement agency in central New Jersey.
So here's my finished mask with the darts, the elastic. Turn it over. Here's the filter pocket with the edges turned over and clean finished. And then on the inside, the lining also has darts, and you can see where I left the opening so that I could pull my fabric through and turn it right side out, and then I just stitched at the very bottom to close it. So make sure that that seam is finished so there's no hole. And this is what your mask will look like when it's finished. So I have my cut out pieces for the size medium face mask, and I'm going to go ahead and sew all the darts first, and then the chin pieces to the outer and the lining, and then work on the pocket, the filter pocket for the inside of the mask. So right now I'm going to sew all the darts, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so I've sewn my darts for the mask, and now I have my lining and my outer, or the facing. And so now we're going to take the chin gusset and we're going to attach it to the mask. So we're going to put right sides together. We're going to start on one end and sew all the way around the curved edge to the other end. And we're going to do that on both the lining and the facing of the mask. And then we will begin working on the filter pocket. Okay, so I have attached the chin gusset to the main part of the mask, and now we're ready to work on the filter pocket so that we can attach it to the inside of the lining. So we're going to fold the sides over about a 1/4 inch, and then we're going to sew the sides down, and then we'll be ready to attach them to the inside of the lining so that we can assemble the whole pattern. Here is the lining of the mask, and here's the filter pocket. So we're just going to set this in here. I've pressed the bottom edge under. It seems to fit a little better in the mask. And it's really tricky to do this with one hand, but we're just gonna line this up with the middle and the darts. And then we're going to sew across the top here once this is nice and flat, and sew across the bottom, and then we can layer elastic inside and put on our facing. Okay, so the lining at the filter pocket is now inside the lining, and we're ready to attach our elastic. I've already attached one side of the elastic just to make this video a bit quicker, but we're going to attach it on the inside, not the outside. And then once we have this attached, we're going to sandwich it in between the outer facing and the lining. And I prefer to put my elastic a little bit away from the corner, just for ease of sewing for me with the corners. The elastic on the medium size should be 6.5 inches. The elastic on the large is 8 inches, and the elastic on the small is 6 inches. Okay, so the elastic is on there now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right sides of our lining and our facing, and we're going to put them together. So mine is thick because I have the pocket in there. We're going to sew all the way around, and I prefer to leave the opening to be able to pull it inside out at the bottom of my mask, and then stitch that shut once it's all through, as it's not as noticeable when it's on the bottom. So I'm going to now sew this all the way around, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we'll flip it inside out. Okay, so the mask is has been sewn all the way around the edges. So now I'm going to reach in this little hole here and find the elastic to pull it so it's right side out. And then once that's done, we will sew this pocket, this little seam here, closed, and the mask will be finished. So here's my finished mask with the darts, the elastic. Turn it over. Here's the filter pocket with the edges turned over and clean finished. And then on the inside, the lining also has darts. And you can see where I left the opening so that I could pull my fabric through and turn it right side out. And then I just stitched at the very bottom to close it. So make sure that that seam is finished so there's no hole. And this is what your mask will look like when it's finished.